All right, we're live. I don't know if we started getting an audience yet.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
So we
guys.
can't really tell from our end if people have joined the space yet, but just drop any emoji, any reaction, say hi in the comment section if you're here.
Yeah, if you guys can hear us, mic check. 1, 2. All right, all right. Let go. Good evening, guys. Good evening from this end of the world. Let's go. Welcome to another beautiful session of After Hours. It's great to be here alongside my beautiful co-host Kemi. How you feeling today? How you doing?
I'm good. But my camera is bad, so I can't really join. Like,
That's cool. That's cool. I'll shine for both of us. All right, guys. I hope everybody's doing good. If you guys are pumped for this, let's see those emojis once again. Um, can hear loud and clear. All right, guys. Welcome to day three. Day three of the After Hours program, courtesy of Float. And earlier in the week, we had the fireside session with Sore. And then yesterday, we had the amazing session about content creation with the legendary Tayo Aina. And today, we also have somebody, influence powerhouse, that's going to be speaking to us today. I'm sure that you all already know who his person is in the person of Chisom Njoku, and it promises to be lit, right? Promises to be lit, and I can't wait for him to get here. I think we're having um, a bit of issues getting him on the space, but he's definitely going to join us pretty soon. It's great to have everybody here once again. I'm looking forward to learning a thing or two from the space as always. Shout out to everybody that has consistently come here and held it down with us from day zero, right? This program wouldn't have as much of an impact if it was just us that was on here, right? So I'm grateful for each and everybody that has tuned in from day zero and kept it locked with us, coming to learn in these sessions, coming to tune in, coming to support. Um, it's been amazing so far, and the After Hours program is coming to an end. This is the final week for season one, right? It's been amazing weeks of unlimited knowledge, insight, so much $1 million worth of game that has gone down on After Hours, right? And we're going to be closing out tomorrow, of which every person that has participated in this would definitely be given a certificate of um, participation, which is definitely very credible. Trust me, guys, it's definitely very credible. So shout out to everybody that has been here from day one. It's great to have you guys as an audience always. All right, peace, peace. Shout out to you, Niat Saf. I always see Niat in the comments. I always see him asking questions. Shout out to you, bro. It's great to have you on here always. Um, I think we're going to be having you on one of the sessions tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that space. I'm really looking forward to all of the knowledge and all of the insight that you have to share, bro. Thank you always, man. Peace to you as well. Um, it's Ramadan season anyway on this part of the world, and our Muslim brothers are participating in the Ramadan. Um, Peace and love to everybody that's celebrating this festival. Greetings to you too, Nano. Shout out to you, Nano.
hi guys.
Greetings.
So we just had like a slight technical difficulty, but Chisom will be joining us any minute now.
All right. Chisom will be joining us any moment now. Welcome, Nano. Greetings to you too as well. I'm sure you guys are excited. We'll be starting this session pretty soon. Let's just give it a couple more for Chisom to get in here. But in the meantime, guys, please do make use of your socials, share the space, retweet, follow us on our Instagram and our Twitter, floats anywhere. You know, retweet the posts, retweet the sessions. You know, if you have to take screenshots of your screen, use the hashtag after hours and just post something out there. Post that you're being a part of this program. Post something that this program has, impacted in your life for the past, 2 weeks that we've been on here, right? Be creative about it. Tag floats anywhere. You can tag myself, tag the amazing speakers from the sessions that you feel impacted you the most. And let's just do it. Let's put it out there. This is something to be proud of. This is something to be energized about. On this part of the world, this is a blessing, right? On this part of the world, this is a blessing, and I'm forever grateful to be a part of it. I'm also learning myself, being up here, and being up here has taught me a lot of things, right? Life is all about learning and knowledge. Nia says we stand united in forever learn. Okay, we stand united in a forever learning mindset. Ramadan Kareem to everyone participating in the auspicious time of year. Thank you, DSA and Team Floats. Thank you, Niaz. Thank you for your warm and kind comments. Um, I appreciate you, brother. Peace and love. Right. So I was saying earlier, it's something to be proud of, right? This program is something to shine bright and express yourself about, because this is definitely a step in the right direction. This is definitely a step in the future, right? And I'm grateful to share this platform with each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much. All right. We have the man of the hour. We
Okay.
have the man of the hour join us.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I'm so sorry to keep you guys waiting. I was just trying to put some finishing touches on my lesson note because
All
I'm a
right.
lecturer now apparently. So um if everyone is ready, we could dive in. But I'd like to just, you know, uh thank everyone that's on here right now. I don't know if I could see the entire class, but if you guys are good to go, just message me in the chat bar so I know everybody is good to go, yeah?
All right.
Okay. Kemi, can I fly?
Yeah, we can read you loud and clear, bro.
Whenever you're ready, man. Whenever you're ready.
Okay then. Um so I prepared a little slider to just help me expand on the topic of discussion today, which is influencing in the future, right? And I feel like this is a topic that personally um is in front of us, right? As young people, this is a career path that has kind of just like manifested right in front of us. Do you get what I mean? And we have the privilege of experiencing the first generation of influencers to, in some way, start the conversation of this being like a mainstream career, right? But the interesting thing that you're going to learn along the course of this is this generation didn't really start influencing, because influencing has been around right from the time of the ancient Romans, right? But lobbying and influencing and using public sway to make things happen, it's existed like right from time, but we've been able to at this time monetize it in a different way and like leverage it so that now anybody can be an influencer, right? As long as you have a dedicated group of people that pay attention to you, you can very much call yourself an influencer. And there's different classes, and we're going to go into all of that. So without further ado, let's dive in. Um, so I began by trying to give a simple definition of influence. So a dictionary definition would be just the capacity or the power of a person or persons or things, to be a compelling force on or produce effects on the actions, behavior, opinions, etc., etc. of others, right? So a basic example would be, someone using influence, that's power or, you know, force of control within something, whether it's an industry or government or society, to make things happen, either positively or negatively. So throughout history, we've seen different people of influence. Even from the creation story, you would remember how in the garden, for those of us here that are Christians, or for those of you that are Christians, you can remember how it was said that the snake, the serpent, was able to lure Eve and influence her to, eat the apple, and Eve in turn influenced Adam to eat the apple. So you understand that influence isn't this Brobdingnagian concept. It's not this very far out thing. It's something that on a daily basis, if you're able to tell someone something that changes their preconceived notions or their existing point of view, you've influenced them. All right. So by definition, this is what it is. Um, Moving on to the next slide. The rise of influencers, the rise of influencers and influencing as a career path. So I just made reference to the creation story of Christianity, just to give you an idea of how far back, the concept of influence and influencing has existed, right? But talking about it in a more um, modern sense, where you're able to leverage off of people that pay attention to you, whether it be your audience on social, or your friends, or people that you have on an email list, whatever sort of influence you have over a group of people, and you're able to use that as uh, a source of income, right? So this was the first actual influencer marketing platform. It was called Pay Per Post. And in 2006, the founder, Murphy, a man named Murphy in the US, launched Pay Per Post. It was the first marketplace that paid bloggers to create content for brands. And it began like what we understand today to be modern influencer marketing on social media. So having blogs back in the day, like if you can remember the era of bloggers, where creating a blog was just as easy as creating like a Facebook page or like an Instagram page, right? You just go on blogspot.com, right? And in 5 quick minutes, like you have your own blog. It's set up and like it's everything you want it to be. Do you understand? And if you want to be able to have people on there, you would need to send that link to them via like a mailing list, right? So you just copy the link of that your blog and send it to everybody on your mailing list, because back in the day, this is how you had to do it, right? Now it's not like a direct DM thing. So this is how it started out. And I feel like for contemporary influencing, we would be remiss if we like dove into it without mentioning like the pioneers, the OGs that kind of set the path and kind of like showed how much of just sheer will and achievement was possible off of leveraging social media, right? So that's a picture of Paris Hilton down there, because although today Kim Kardashian has like a larger market share in terms of influence and control, you know this, but that was actually how Kim K got her start. And that was because at that time, Paris Hilton was the it girl. Like she was her, right? So you would notice that like around the the early 2010s, um even before 2010, yeah, even before 2010, Paris Hilton already kind of like was making the rounds that she was dating all the baddest men them. She had been with Cristiano Ronaldo. She had already even like built this pink princess persona, right? And she was building a following on existing social platforms at the time. And this was just MySpace, Skype, High Five, those type of platforms, and she had like a large following on them regardless. And I feel like being the innovator that Chris Jenner is, she was able to spot the opportunity with her daughter Kim, and they've been able to build this multi-billion-dollar empire off of. Well, a lot of people think it's nothing, but it's not nothing. It's intentionality. That is what it takes to build a brand, right? Because anybody could take pictures, anybody could, pardon my French, have a sex tape, anybody could pose in luxury cars, anybody could do any of that stuff, right? So the intentionality of being able to leverage popularity and an ability to influence decision for the people that paid attention to her, and use that to make money off of these brands. So she's been able to leverage big deals with brands like Balmain, um, uh, Apple, yeah, and most recently Mugler Theory. Mugler, that's a fashion brand as well. But beyond these, even in tech and sports, she's been able. Someone like you would be so surprised to wonder how does, how is the Kim K making money off of sports? But she is, because she's been able to position herself as not just a niche influencer, because we'll also get to that. I will explain what a niche influencer is. But why I have to pay so much attention to her is for you to understand that intentionality is such a big part of this. It's such a big part of the business, because that's the thing that sets you apart from anyone else. That's the thing that kind of, you know, decides whether you're going to make it or not. Because at some point, you're going to be faced with criticism. You're going to be faced with, oh, get a real job, or, you know, sometimes your campaigns won't do as well, right? So is you're choosing to continue regardless of all these other factors that kind of like set you apart. And that's something to take away from the Kardashians, and I admire that. So I had to talk on that. Um, so let's look at influencing today, the influencing structure today, and the different classes of influencers, right? So there are the mega influencers, and these are like the people with a million followers or more than a million followers. So you think influencers, and so you think celebrities, you think the Selena Gomez's and the Kylie Jenners and the Kim K's, what have you. You think the C Ronaldos, you think the core celebrities, right? The global celebrities, you think the Wiz Kids. Um, you think for mega celebrities, there's something else I wanna point out, right? So just because of how um the world is now a global village, right? You find that some of the actual biggest celebrities in the world, you might not even know them, but the brands that are partnering with them understand the value that they're bringing to the table. So I'll give you an example. There's this cricket player in India. And just for reference, India is a country with a population of over 1 billion, right? So this man there, he is their, whatever, the way Nigerians regard like Wizkid and Davido and Burna Boy, right? That's the way they regard this man there. And he has, just picture Michael Jackson or the Pope when they go to like their balcony and they have all those screaming fans, hundreds of thousands of people outside their windows, right? That's the kind of privilege that this man enjoys, right? But you don't know him. Like, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, bro. He plays cricket, right? And in India, cricket is such a big game. It's the way soccer is in Nigeria. And this guy is such a big deal. He has all the major brands that exist in India, even when they want to do international campaigns and they're looking for brown faces for diversity's sake, right? This is who they're going to call. And you'll find that like his influence is only growing because, again, it's a global village, right? When you find this person with 200 million followers and you're wondering, yo, who is this person? Like, that's one of the things that piqued my interest was I saw him on a campaign and I went to look at him because he was very prominently placed in that campaign, but to me, he was the new face, and I'm wondering why is this person like next to some of the greats, and like from a marketing perspective, I'm always curious, so I would always spot those things, and I went to research this man. I found out that he was a colossal deal in India. So, that's something to factor in. Sometimes, you know, on the in the grand scheme of things, right? It might not be too important if everybody knows you, but as long as you've been able to consolidate like a core group of people that rock with you and admire the work that you do, whether you're a mega influencer or a nano influencer, is something to aspire to cultivate the community. So next up is macro influencers. These are people with 500,000 to 1 million followers, right? So you think your YouTubers, um, your B-list actors and actresses, or even some content creators as well. Yeah, so they fall into macro influencers. Then you have mid-tier influencers with 50,000 to 500,000 followers. So these are the lower you come, right? And that's another trick to this the game of influencing. The lower you come, the more you find that the influencers have a closer connection to their followers. So you would find now that big brands, international brands, the Nikes, the Amazons, the Netflixes, and what have you, they are actually even more interested in the mid-tier influencers to the nano influencers for specific types of campaigns than they are the macro and the mega. And the reason is because the mid-tier influencers, the micro influencers, and the nano influencers, these ones that have from 500K down to 1K, they have a stronger sense of community. Like they interact more with their followers on a frequent basis than the 500Ks and the 1 millions, right? Because come on, how many people are you going to respond to? Do you understand? But chances are, if you DM a whiskey today, or if you message whiskey today, if you post something about Leo's service, Leo is a product under UBA who, for whom he's a brand ambassador. But if he posts about them today, right, and you ask a question, I can almost guarantee you're not going to get an answer, at least not from Whiskey, right? But if they used a smaller influencer, say a tech influencer like Fisayo Fosudo, or if they use um like a smaller YouTuber compared to Whiskey, like maybe a Corty, um your your chances of getting a response is going to be better, because someone like Cordy, for example, who's a YouTuber and a great friend as well, she she has been able to build community, and this is something that brands are looking out for now more than ever, because they find that sometimes these mega influencers, yeah, they are good for awareness campaigns. Awareness campaigns are when you're just trying to like basically raise awareness for a product or a service, right? You're not necessarily trying to get people to buy anything. You're not trying to get them to make a purchase. You're not expecting them to, at least. At this stage, you just want your product to be out there and to be affiliated with somebody that's big. So you would go to Ikeja, for those of you in Nigeria, you go to Ikeja, you would see the big, billboards of Whiskey holding a techno, or you see a billboard of Davido holding an Infinix. But you and I know they don't use Techno and Infinix. Wizkid would, if all his phones break today, he still has another spare iPhone, you understand, before he'll use a Techno that he's advertising. But like he'll still do that, and people are still going to applaud that, because they're just trying to raise awareness. They know, even they know that, he doesn't use this, and he's not going to encourage you to go and buy it because he's not using it, right? But for awareness sake, it's a familiar face that you see holding this flashy phone. Curiosity, at least, to make you look twice. Not necessarily make you go to the store and be like, oh, I want to buy this because Whiskey is using it. Whiskey do not sit down to unbox that phone and tell you, in detail, oh, this is a so and so, it has so and so, The detail of a proper breakdown video, he can't do that. He won't do that because that's not his job. He's supposed to look pretty and pose with your product, right? But these mid-tier influencers, these micro influencers, the nano influencers, they would sit down and give you a step-by-step analysis why you should take this versus this, why this is going to. They'll even do tests for you, right? You would see, for example, a techno, right? That whiskey influencers. If you give that to a micro influencer, they would sit down and do comparisons between that and a Samsung or or an iPhone. They would do drop tests. They'll do all that stuff that their community would want to see, right? Their core community would want to see, and that just makes people just more interactive because they know that this is your job and this is what you're trying to do. It's your business to inform them and to, in a way, guide them the right direction, right? And these brands know that. They know that like a whiskey is going to help them get it out there in terms of popularity. But you, the micro influencer, you're the one that's actually going to drive sales because when people want to actually see what the phone is about and what it can do, they are coming to you. You, that person that has 10K followers, that has 15K, that has 5K, that has 20K subscribers, that has, that small but loyal audience that will be able to actually go out and buy these products. So yeah, but the beauty of everything is you can always scale up. If you're a nano influencer right now with 1,000 to 10,000 followers, you can always scale up to the level of a micro influencer to a mid tier. Like it's just a matter of consistency and carrying your audience along as you go. It's not the easiest thing sometimes because again, we are seeing like an oversaturation in the field, right? Where a lot of people have a lot of things to say. And sometimes it's not always sensible things, but you know, it's the internet. Everybody has a right to say what they want to say. So before people dig through the rubbish to find your diamond that's in the rough, they may get tired or they may just settle for what they see before they see you. And there's a lot out there. So you need to understand now that you're not competing with just the people in your immediate environment, but like you're competing for the same amount of time and attention as creators from all over the world. So yeah, that's something to think about on this journey. At this juncture, I think I want to pause and ask if everyone is you know understanding the analysis that I've been making, and if you have any questions, this would be a time to ask before I continue.
All right, guys. Amazing, 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 Chisom. All right, guys. If you have any questions, you can keep your start asking your questions in the comments. We'll be taking any questions you might have. I hope everybody's understanding what's been talked about so far. I hope you have your notes. I sure do have mine. I sure do have mine.
Nice one.
Yeah, guys. Keep the questions coming.
If there are no immediate questions, I could just continue,
Yeah,
but I'll
yeah, you
I'll
can
wait
go
for a
on.
minute to see.
All right.
So if there are no questions, I will be continuing now. Um, so back to the topic of discussion, which is influencing in the future. Hmm. Thank you. I just saw that comment. So yeah, influencing in the future. We need to understand that now more than ever, people prefer relatable versus aspirational personalities, and that's exactly what I was saying in the previous slide, talking about the mega influencers versus the nano influencers. People connect more with people than people that seem so far out. They will tend to like idolize and worship, quote unquote, the bigger figures, the ones that look larger than life, the whiz kids that are, jet setting and shutting down arenas. Like it's something to aspire towards, right? But you you cannot necessarily relate right now. Like if you want to go to the store, you are ordering an Uber or you are driving yourself. You're not hopping downstairs with like a fleet of 10 cars to take you to the mall. You're not living that life. Do you understand? So the consumers that you're trying to market to, they are real people. They are real people. And tendency is that they're going to connect with a real story more than they will something that seems too perfect. They would love it to idolize it. They would they would fight for it. They will argue about it. How rich is this person? They will do all of that. But when it comes down to it, when they tell themselves the truth, they know that you're gone. Like you're too far out from them. So your troubles are not even their troubles. I cannot imagine like uh a mega influencer, like a celebrity, right? A super celebrity trying to market some sort of, imagine someone like Davido coming to, try to sell a product that has to do with maybe getting short-term loans, like a service that offers short-term loans to people. It can be done because at the end of the day, people don't really understand, marketing and pairing the right influencers to a product. So you can see sometimes there are mismatches, really popular, really influential people with the wrong products because people just assume it's about the flash and it's about, oh, they have so and so following. But the thing is, you need to pair the right influencer with the right product. If you bring a food influencer and tell them to market your shoes for you, that's not going to work because a food influencer's core audience is foodies. It's people that are there for recipes. It's people that are trying to learn how to bake cakes. So if you give them a Nike deal, it might not give you what you want, right? So same thing with pairing of influencers to products. Today, you would find that, like I said, brands are going to lean more towards, especially when it's expansive campaigns. When is a one off, when it's just for the billboards and for the magazine covers, the outlandish campaigns, yes, they'll go for the mega influencers because that's what they need, awareness. But when they actually want to get things done, nano influencers, the mid tier influencers, those are the ones with the community. So now more than ever, people prefer relatable versus aspirational. Aspirational is too far fetched. It's nice when you're trying to sell some certain products like this is another fun thing. So I don't know if a lot of you watch shows like maybe Big Brother, or even if you watch soccer, if you watch football, yeah, you would notice that sometimes somewhere in the middle there are ads for like betting companies. And if you take your time to watch those ads, you notice something, right? And the thing you're going to notice is the messaging. The messaging is aspirational. Like the main key message that they're trying to sell you in that ad is the theme of hope. And the reason is because some products, when you're trying to, because of the people that you're targeting, right, you need to be aware of the messaging. So hope is literally the one universal messaging factor that you would find in a lot of ads, but more especially with sports betting and things like that. And they would bring someone familiar to you, someone you've probably seen in sports or entertainment. You would see maybe a Don Jazzy. I know he represents Betway, or a JJ Okocha, who's with I think Bet King, or a brother Shaggy who's with Mary Bet, or yeah, but there's a plethora of them, right? And they know what they're doing because they are showing you this person who you already kind of look up to, and they're pairing them with this product, which can potentially make you money, right? So if you want to look like or be like this person that they are positioning next to their product, this person probably has never gambled a day in their life, right? But they are planting it in your head that like, oh, this person does this, so clearly there must be also there must also be something there. This person won't be involved if it wasn't something tangible, right? But that's not true. It's just messaging, and they are very aware of how gullible people can be sometimes. So it's something that brands do. Is a trick that they do as well. um so yeah, back to the lesson note. I was saying that in this new Okay, someone asked the question just now. What's the difference between an influencer and a content creator? That's a wonderful question. I'm going to pause to answer that question, right? So, an influencer is someone that generally has a community of people that they have sway over, right? While a content creator is someone that puts things together, that is able to create alluring visuals, whether through film, whether through photos. In fact, there's now like just audio content. So like podcasts. Podcasters are also content creators, right? But a podcaster might not be an influencer, but an influencer could be a podcaster. Do you get what I mean? A podcaster is simply sharing, their views. They're not necessarily trying to push those views on you, because a lot of the times those podcasts are either a one-sided conversation where like two people or one person is just sharing their views, right? Sometimes it's conversational, sometimes it's confrontational, right? So those are content creators. People that shoot skits, those are content creators. We found that as the market was developing, right, we figured that you can market products and services through your content. And that's where, the lines between content creation and influencing kind of got blurred. And now, like for me as a professional in the field, I find myself, I kind of like, I have this thing at the back of my mind where if I'm watching like a skit, like a funny video, right? Or I'm reading content or something, or I'm watching something, I can kind of tell if any element of that video or that content is sponsored or if it's paid for. Like I could tell, like just by watching or listening, whether it is the intro, like the opening song, or over hammering on one subject matter through the course of that video or that content. Like you can kind of tell if you pay attention, right? So yeah, that's something to look at, because content creation in itself is kind of just by definition different from influencing. If you're a photographer, you're a content creator. Do you understand? If you're a videographer, you're a content creator, but you're not necessarily an influencer. But as an influencer, you know, you automatically need content to promote, yourself and your brand and to be able to influence people. So you need photos, you need videos, you need all of that. As an influencer, you have to be both, but as a content creator, you don't necessarily have to be an influencer. You just, create your content. You could sell that content independently, even to the influencer. As a content creator, you could work for an influencer. Do you understand? So yeah, that's just the quick difference between them. Um, so back to influencing in the future. I was saying that technology will fuel and is fueling, this shift that I'm talking about, the shift that we're going to see in the future. And that is because, it's making connecting talent to consumers seamless and immediate. It's not as difficult as it was back in the day to be able to put together a narrative, to be able to get your information out there, to get your story out there. And that's why, like I said earlier, now you're not competing for the attention of, just the people in your backyard. You're competing against news and information and content, some of which is rubbish, some of which is great, but it's all jam-packed out there because it's so easy now. You just take your phone, you record something, you upload it instantaneously, and it's out there. If you put some money behind it, you can sponsor that, and it's in front of people whether they like it or not. Do you understand? So technology has really just made it a lot easier to be able to, say what you want to say, right? And the thing that you need to factor in is this change Like change never really just happens like this. It's always is a progression. So as an attentive person, it's your job to kind of like just look out for those trends and when the changes are happening so that you don't get left behind. So you have a better understanding of what exactly is happening, right? So first off, on how this change regarding to influencing in the future is going to present itself. So first off would be through real-time incubation, right? So that just means that now brands are not necessarily going to spend time and energy and resources just backing anything, right? They're going to take some chances, but they're going to also, you know, be more intricate with the processes behind the products that they put out because they are aware now that people are specific, that people are paying attention. I'll give you an example of something. And this is with music and with artists, right? So you would find that like Maven Records, for example, that's a label here in Nigeria. You find that before they would put out um a project or they would activate an artist, they have already gone through the process of research, researching their age range, researching to understand what exactly this person will be able to bring to the table, researching to understand the demographic he will be able to, or he or she will be able to influence, researching to just figure out how best to break in this sound, right? And even sneaker companies and like the NBA, they would spend months designing and developing new signature sneakers, right? And they will expect people to become just more involved with the creative process. Because right now, not just sneakers, cars, Porsche, you could go online and like design your own car. If you have the bread, you could go on Porsche.com right now, or even on Mercedes or Nike to start small, and you design your sneaker to your taste. That's real time incubation. Like they are carrying you along in the process. It's not just putting something and slapping their name on it and saying boom, buy. They are kind of trying to incorporate you now. So in a way, you're playing a part in creating the product that you're buying. You you have that sense of ownership because this is mine, this is yours. Do you get what I mean? So real-time incubation is one way it's going to present itself. Another way is going to be through interactive creative. So interactive creatives are things like augmented reality, right? And that allows you to essentially like put assets and experiences just into the world. Virtual reality invites people into like a different world and is mashing together technologies that will deliver like a new highly interactive brand experience. And you're going to find that over time is going to be more and more incorporated into like daily life. VR and AR. NFC is near field communication. It's a service that's been out there since maybe I was in primary school or high school, but people just didn't know what it was. Your phone, your cell phones, your cards, your ATMs, they all have NFC, this near field communication. And it's a service that is just now being used with Apple Pay and it's looking so revolutionary to people, like where you can tap your phone at the store and you can pay and just leave, or the new Amazon supermarkets in the US where it's self-service. Once you walk past, as long as you have your phone in your pocket, like it scans you and you're going. This is technology that's existed for some time, right? But it's just now coming to the forefront because the cycle of consumer behavior is changing. Do you understand? Influence is changing hands because now the ways that you understood things to be before are going to be slowly but surely changing right in front of you. But if you don't pay attention, you're not going to be able to clock that. Oh shit, this is happening. until you wake up one day and you're like, how did we get here? But the thing is, it's small changes. It's not just, it doesn't just ever happen boom at once. It's a process, right? And when we're getting there, right in front of us, everything is happening. So you're going to find voiceover is going to be another very interesting way that influencing is going to take a left in the future. And it's already happening now because um systems like Siri and Alexa have become so intertwined into the lives of some people that it's unreal, it's unbelievable. So in the third world countries like you know sub-Saharan Africa, and that it's not very commonplace, but with time it's going to get here, right? But across the world, especially in the Western world, you would find that smart homes that have services like Alexa already built in, they develop a reliance on this because imagine, 2 3 years like you come into your home, before you walk in, your kitchen is telling you good morning. You want to open the blinds, you're talking to your home service, and it's basically your personal assistant, and it's getting all these things done for you. And the thing is, you might not notice that over time it starts to get your ear because some of these services are like interactive, right? So you would talk to Alexa to recommend a good restaurant close by. Alexa is the one that is telling you, oh, there's this pizza place here or this Italian restaurant there. What if it's that Italian restaurant is paying, a premium to Amazon for it to come up in the searches or in the suggestions when people ask for a good place to eat out, or people ask what's the best camera, and people would genuinely take, because I Google shit sometimes too, pardon my French. When I want something, I would Google, to know the best specs and this and that. But if you're reliant on voiceovers and AIs like Alexa, they have influence over you because what they suggest to you, you are going to highly consider, because after a while, it just becomes second nature to you. For the first couple of months, it's new. After a year, it's part of your life now. 2 years, 3 years, come on, it's just there. And that influence is not going to get weaker, it's only going to get stronger. And let's assume you have children, right? Your children are going to get, they're going to be born into this, like they're going to grow up seeing Alexa, listening to Alexa, and it's just going to be part of what they understand normal life to be. And just by virtue of what they've been exposed to, they're going to tend to listen to this um, voiceover like it's a third parent, especially if they are young and impressionable. So that influence is not just to you or I, it's going to, stem down to like younger human beings as well. So that's interesting to watch out for. Something else is inanimate celebrities, and that's already happening right now, where you would see AI generated images that have millions of followers. They are already influencers right now. They are getting paid a lot of money to advertise products for brands like Prada, to Gucci, to to Fendi. I remember I saw this very cool Prada campaign that had this AI, and that's another beautiful thing about these inanimate celebrities. They are young forever. Do you understand? Like they can look however they want to look. Like for us as human beings, be if trying to appeal to your followers or your fans more, right? You have to maybe work out to have a six pack, or pay more attention to the way that you look or the way that you dress, or just it's more cost intensive to look certain ways and to create certain aesthetics and all of that. But for inanimate celebrities, they're just a click away. If I'm designing one, if I want, them to have a BBL, boom, I click my keypad and I put it together. If I want them to be taller, shorter, light skin, dark skin, tattoos, no tattoos, if I want them in easily, you understand? So the programmer would be able to, or the lab, the AI lab that's running this inanimate celebrities, they'll be able to use them however they want at no cost to them, because they already have the software they used to create these things, and they would use them to generate a shit ton of revenue yearly. You can already see, I added some examples there. People like Lil Mayo. Lil Mayo is a is a doll. Is literally like just an action figure, and it's verified on social media. I mean, properly verified, not what's going on now where you could just buy verification. It's a celebrity. It's a doll, inanimate as hell. It doesn't have feelings, opinions, nothing. Someone is running it, is putting it in expensive cars and just posing it to look cool, and it's also charging a premium, because if you want Lil Mayo to post your event or to post your clothing or to attend your event, like the doll will literally just be brought there and pose for a few photos in the backdrop at your real event with real human beings, and you're going to have to pay it $50,000 upwards for that. Do you understand how interesting this is? That this is something that doesn't age. It has no emotions. It's a toy. And same thing with Kwe Kwe. Kwe Kwe is a little miniature sized AI rendition that is also verified on Instagram. It has followers. It has millions of real people commenting, "I love you. You inspire me. I want to be like you." And this doesn't exist. It's as real as any other photo on your phone. You can see here that there's a beautiful, you know, a replica of my humble self over here, generated by our good friends at Floats. And it's just, like they generated this. Imagine them just slapping on a Gucci t-shirt on here, and then Gucci is paying me 50 grand to post this on his Instagram. So I create an Instagram account for this avatar right here, and I'm charging a premium if I'm posting your content on there for on his page. This isn't me. This is a whole different person. I could call him Ghost, and Ghost has his own life, and you're paying Ghost for his services, but Ghost is not a real person. But again, what's real? In the future, you're gonna learn that a lot of things now that are seeming bizarre and far-fetched is gonna be the norm. It's gonna be so normal for businesses to pay AI bots to promote their products. So normal. It's interesting, something to look into. So finally on my list, and honestly, that's not even where it ends, but I would just use that as the final point of reference. You would find that reanimated celebrities are going to be a big deal in the near future, right? So what do I mean by reanimated celebrities? I mean iconic celebrities that people just never get tired of hearing about or seeing. Because I remember a few years ago in concert, I think 2015, 2014, 2015, Tupac was in concert. Tupac's been dead 20 years, but he was in concert in Los Angeles because they used holograms to just put together like a very accurate depiction of him, and the fans went crazy, crazy. I mean, like a Coachella style crowd, and they're so happy that Tupac is here and he's headlining this event and he's going. But that wasn't Pac. Pac has been cooling for 20 years. Do you understand? But just because of the influence that the original already had, they've been able to leverage on that to keep it going even years after. And I can promise you that if they announce a Michael Jackson headline concert, it'll sell out. Even though people know it's reanimated and it's a hologram, it's not real, it's not him. Even just out of curiosity, people will pull up. People will pull up. And that goes the same for a lot of other just people that have passed. and people just have strong sense of connection to them, right? So for religious people, Jesus Christ is, or imagine like, a rendition of Jesus Christ. People already, pray at the cross, and I don't want to go into religion, but you know how it is. Like when you're able to bring something that kind of serves as a virtual, or like just something they can see, a visual representation of something that they adore, they're going to go crazy for it. That's just what it is. And I can imagine brands using that as an opportunity to market themselves. Please, can you ask that last question again? I think I saw something coming. Um,
I think a
who
few
is?
questions have come in, so I'll
Yeah,
just share
yeah.
like
I'm seeing a few of them. I'll address everything now. Papaya is asking, how do you balance work and real life, especially with being in the limelight a lot? That's a cute question. Um, Honestly, I personally I try to have fun while I work. Right. I feel like I say this a lot, especially to people that are around me, like in person often. I tell them that I feel like I'm living life in adventure mode, which means that like I don't really have like a blueprint to any of this. I just try to do the best that I can and keep my mind on the vision that I have for myself, right? So the balance that you're looking for is literally just defining your goals and finding new ways every day to get it. Like that is literally it. You need to figure out what you want to do, what you want for yourself, and then just, you know, literally outline your goals and create like a path or envision the path that you want to follow to get to it. Personally, that's what I do, and I believe that that will work for you as well. I'm seeing more questions as well here. My bad. Um, Thank you, Niat. I'm seeing your questions here as well. Simsi, hi. Okay, with technology evolving and new trends coming up every day, in your opinion, what distinct skill should the influencer human of tomorrow have? That's a good question. That's a really good question. So just because now I'm glad that you're aware that you're no longer competing against just human influencers or human influencers, because there's all these other non-human entities fighting for control of the attention of the same people you're trying to influence, right? So the key thing to have is the skill to adapt and to evolve, because that is what's going to set you apart. You need to be able to just change with the times, to be able to evolve and upgrade, whether it be your content, your personality, not to change who you are, but like your public persona and your brand, because brand evolution is something that just it's constant. Imagine if you're stuck in a period in time. Let's assume you were the hottest thing in 2012, 2013, and you refuse to, change a few things to match what's happening in 2023. That means today, right, to you to invent, you're pulling up in keep shirts, snapbacks, big supras, baggy short. You understand things that were popping in 2012, but in 2022, 2023, it's a different ball game. Style is different, music is different. You know, the messaging is different. Like money is different, government is different, politics is different. Everything will change over time, and I think the most important thing is to kind of just position yourself to be able to grow and change with the times. Yeah, that is definitely what I would say uh to you, Simpsy. Thank you. Niyat said, in the realm of online influence, what measure can one undertake to establish and maintain a sense of trustworthiness with their audience? That's a good question. Personally, I believe that while you're building your audience, right, there must be something that's like attracting them to you. So that means that you're having like a niche, or you're building a niche for yourself. You could be a tech influencer, you could be a fashion influencer, lifestyle influencer, or just even science. You could anything you want to be. Like that's the beautiful and also kind of fucked up thing about the world that we live in today. Like whatever it is that you're into, I promise you, you're not the only one. There's other people that also rock with it. Do you understand? So find your people, build your community, and you have to be as transparent as possible if you're someone that like your community is an interactive one. Do you understand? If you're someone that they rely on for information before they make purchases, you're someone that they rely on before they make decisions, like they vote, things like that. You need to be careful. That just means you can't. Sometimes you have to prioritize quality over money, right? So a brand will come to you like I believe the ones that are on this table the most, especially in Nigeria, are fitness brands, slim teas, waist trainers, all of that. And imagine they come to someone like me that by the grace of God I have a good body, right? Everybody is good, like all bodies are good bodies, but I have like traditionally like aesthetic body. So imagine them like telling me to peddle like a pill and say, oh, it's because of this pill that I'm able to, look the way that I look, or, it's because of this pill that maybe my hair is the way that it is, or just something like that. And I take it, then they'll come with a lot of money too. So if you take that, for a fact that's not true. That this pill is multivitamin, it's not doing anything for anybody. So you have to make that judgment call in the moment, whether or not you want to maintain the transparency and trust that you have with your followers, with your audience, or if you want to sell out, make a lot of money in the moment and come back and fight them later, because a couple of them are going to realize that you just peddled shit to them and it doesn't have any, because they will be taking it religiously, popping those multivitamins you've told them to go and buy, and they're not looking like you, they're not getting sexy, nothing. They'll come back and fight you. So yeah, sometimes you just have to turn away the money and just focus on the quality of your community and building trust. So yeah. Okay, someone is asking Chisom, what are the top 5 platforms essential for any aspiring influencer to have a presence on? What kind of content would you recommend to post on each to begin influencing first 100 followers? Good question as well. But I don't even think you have to be extremely active on up to 5 platforms. Come on. You don't have to be extremely active on 5 platforms. It's great if you have a presence on them, right? But you don't have to be extremely active. I would say Instagram, Twitter. You know what? Before I even answer this question, the kind of content you create is also like a determining factor to the kind of platforms you should be very active on. So if you're someone that, creates like picturesque content or eye-catching content, short eye-catching content, aesthetically pleasing content, stuff like that, Instagram, that's where you should focus on, but you should also have all these other ones as well, because you need to own your knowledge panel. A knowledge panel is basically like it's a collection of data that relates to you as a person. So every public figure has a knowledge panel. Some people haven't claimed their knowledge panel because they don't know what it is or how to do it, but as someone that's out there, you have a knowledge panel. Like Google kind of like keeps notes of all these little things, right? And when you create like a Twitter, Instagram, a Facebook, a YouTube, all of that, and you have it and it's under one email and it's registered and it's yours, that's great because it's out of the way, right? Because if you don't just keep it, even if you're not necessarily being overactive on it, chances are somebody else that's faster than you and sees the vision can go and take your your name or something and make it very difficult for you to get that back. I will give you the instance of Davido, right? So if you remember, just a few short years ago, his username was I am Davido. In fact, first it was Life of Davido, and then it was I am Davido. He always wanted to be just Davido, right? But there was somebody in South America that had already beaten to the punch and taken his name. And person was not using it for anything. I know for a fact that David was in talks with these people for years, over 5 years, trying to get his name back. Eventually the guy agreed and changed it and just let him have Davido. And then he changed it and now he has his Davido page. And that just goes to say that like um having control of your knowledge panel on all platforms is important just for it to be out of the way. But you need to focus on the kind of content that you're creating, for specific platforms to know where you should focus your energy. If you're creating shorts, films, videos, that style content, interactive content, even documentaries, stuff like that, then you should look more towards YouTube, even Instagram for reels and IG shorts and IGTV stuff like that. Yeah, that you look there. If you're more of a talker, if your gift or your content is opinions, Twitter is the way to go, right? Because that's what sells on Twitter. Hot takes, being able to share your POV and fight the people that disagree, talk to people that don't agree. You don't have to fight anyone, but just use that as a way to kind of build that um audience that you want. When you have original thoughts and you share them, you're going to find people that connect to those original thoughts over time. It might not necessarily be immediate. It might not just pop like that, but eventually I can guarantee you that people are going to rock with it. So yeah, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is Facebook, is all of them. So Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat again depends on the kind of creator that you are. TikTok is something that I have personally not been the biggest fan of in the past, but now I understand that its influence is just so far reaching that you cannot ignore it. It is it's a lot. So I actually encourage everyone to just try and learn that, try and understand what TikTok is about. Because funny as it sounds, like it has so much reach and influence and it's organic. You cannot sponsor ads on TikTok, at least not to the best of my knowledge. Like it's the algorithm is going to push your content to like a small group of people. That's literally how it works. Like you post on TikTok with 0 followers, based on the hashtag that you've used there, it'll push it up to like 50 people that frequent those kind of hashtags. So if you put up a post and you put hashtag food, hashtag chef, hashtag food lover, hashtag cook with me, it'll put it up to people that like food related stuff, right? And out of those first 50 people it pushes it to, if 70% of them engage with it, it will push it up to a wider audience, to like 150. If out of that 150, let's say 60-70% engage with it, it'll push it up to 500. Out of that 500, if you get what I mean, out of that 500, if a large percentage engage, 1,000. Out of that 1,000, large 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, 1,000,000. That's literally how virality works on TikTok. Do you understand? Your content is literally it. So if you're able to hack it and figure out just what goes on TikTok and you're able to like tailor your brand to meet that, that's a pretty nifty platform to have under your belt, because the influence is crazy now. Like CK is 9 times platinum based off of TikTok. And I know CK, right? And we had a conversation about like how this was so crazy to him. For those of you that don't know, TK's story is so interesting because had it not been for this TikTok blow up, his life would have gone very differently. Because look at it like this. Here's a kid, a producer that ran away from home in northern Nigeria. He's from Kaduna, right? He came to Lagos on his ones, trying to figure stuff out for himself. And I mean, Ranu literally just left the house one day and in the night and just went to follow his dreams, right? And he's been trying to produce, trying to make his music, and it just wasn't going. But here comes this social network that samples bite sizes of music, and they take 30 seconds of his music and he's gone just based off of, you know, this social network just has that much influence and that much pull. So sorry for going off the rail. It's not really going off the rail, but just that little diversion was to help you understand that this is a platform that you should don't sleep on TikTok. Next question, please. Someone is asking, how does a beginner get started making money as an influencer? Thank you for asking, Paula. How do you start? You have to start creating content first. You need to be able to just build something that you can leverage to make money, right? So when you want to start approaching brands for partnerships, which is usually the first step, like you are going to have to be the one to do the approaching at first. Eventually, when you've positioned yourself well enough, they would start like coming at you. But at first, you need to, you know, you need to do the reaching out, and that means you must have already done some groundwork. You must have already saturated your page with a lot of content that's specific to the kind of brand that you're building, right? So if Paula, this is for you. If you're trying to be a fashion influencer, you must have already kind of like use your page to show your range in fashion and style. Let people see what you're about, and that way, if you approach 10 brands, talk to them about what you're trying to do with them and how you could be of service, and there could be this mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship. They can see the value. They can see, oh, this is how she wore this and this. This is how she looks and this and this. Okay, we have this and this that could work for her, and then you can open conversation and go from there. But something else that would really help you as a beginner is don't be too quick to focus on making money immediately, especially if you're a beginner, right? Because you need to build like a social media portfolio, like your page. That's your social media portfolio, because you need to take that time to invest in yourself, meaning collaborative photo shoots. Even if it's content days, you and your friends go out, document what you can, shoot, all of that. And the good thing is, while you're learning on the job, you are every day you're perfecting it. Like, you're not doing this for anybody, you're doing it for yourself, right? So you're just perfecting everything that you're doing. And over time, it's going to be too clear that there's been a growth and a progression from where you started to where you are now. And when the brands start reaching out, at first it may be a little sparse because, like I said, it's a saturated market now. But if you're able to position yourself well enough, there's nobody else that does it like you. Don't worry, they'll keep coming back. They'll keep coming back. The quality is just what's going to set you apart. All right. So any advice for reserved people who don't have the natural talent of being outspoken but still have influence? That's a good question, because it's true. I've met like influencers that they're like big and popular, but they're like mad shy. Mad shy, like they'll wait outside the venue until their friends come for them to go inside. I'll give you a clue. One of them is like this babe off of Big Brother. I saw her at an event last year. Erica, I love her. But like she was just so shy like that day. And I remember she was outside just waiting for her people to come before she would come in. And even like having conversations with like other influencers where they would tell you straight up that like, oh, yo, bro, I'm glad that you're here. Or I was really second guessing coming out because I'm not sure if I know anybody here, stuff like that. And it's normal. The reason I'm saying this now is just for you to understand that it's very normal for you to, not be comfortable around strangers. Right? At first, it's going to take some getting used to. And so just don't beat yourself up. What I would say is baby steps. You need to start taking steps to like put yourself out there because you are working in an industry that requires you to be vocal and to be outside, right? And that just means putting yourself out of your comfort zone. Like I've done that so much that I don't even know where my comfort zone is. Like I make everywhere like my comfort zone now. Like I don't allow anyone or anything kind of dictate like where I should be comfortable or in what position. Now it's like that, but at first, like it can be very intimidating. My days, it can be very intimidating, but it's not impossible. You could definitely do it. You can 1000% do it. Any other question?
None yet, but I'll keep a lookout for any questions that are not in the
Okay.
main chat. But yeah, I think we're doing good, guys. Like, let's just get like a quick vibe check, see what's going on in chat. Is everyone following? All right.
I've seen a lot of the comments, man. Shout out to everyone that came on. Like, first off, like this is such an amazing initiative. I feel like being able to share what little knowledge I have about this very interesting, very broad topic is is great to just sit and talk with you guys because at the end of the day, like no knowledge is wasted, and I can guarantee you that what I've shared with you today is a mix of experience and research, right? And I've been able to just watch the trends and understand what the brands are thinking, how they reason, what the consumers are thinking as well. Like I don't know, I'm at the stage where like it's shout out to Yokote. I'm at the stage where it's like it's almost second nature to me. Like it doesn't even feel like I'm working, right? It's it is what it is, and I'm glad to be able to have all of you on here. Just thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Um. So yeah, the last slide on this it asks a question, which is, what are we gonna do with all this future? Like clearly, from everything I've said, you can tell that there's a lot of change on the way. Like there's a lot of different things that are going to happen over the next couple of years that might be hard for some people to keep up with, right? So, how are you as an influencer or as a creator or as a content creator? Just how are you preparing yourself to move with this tide that is coming? How are you preparing yourself to grow with this change? Because that change is definitely here. Like this year alone, we've seen an explosion with AI. This is March, oh. So all that chat GTP talk that you've been hearing and seeing on social, and it blew up this year, and this year just started. Do you understand? This is 2023 March. This is what the conversation is. If you go online, you're going to see last week the picture of the Pope in the AI generated puffer jacket was trending, and that is influence. So, and the designer wasn't real. The photo wasn't real. Like it's happening already. We're talking the future. Like it happened last week, but like I said, nothing changes like this. Like it happens small small, in bits and pieces, yeah, to the point where it becomes the norm. But you don't notice like those little bits if you're not paying attention. To you, it's just, oh, it's light. Oh, that's cool. Look at that rendition of the Pope and this and that. But when you think about what it means, you understand now that like this change is coming, and it's coming fast. Let me give you a good example. I read an article, right, that was focusing on artists, like people that draw portraits, people that draw real life portraits of human beings that get commissioned to do it. And I'm not talking about the big names, like the celebrity artists, the what's his name, the Banskis and them. I'm talking about like everyday artists that they make a living off of drawing portraits of people. They make a comfortable living, but they are not yet blown. So there was a little survey that was done, yeah, talking to these people, and there were like five of them, and five of them were, asked, oh, how much did you make off of influence, off of being an artist in 2020, the pandemic year, or from 2020 to 2021. And some people were making 50K a year, some were making 60, 70K a year off of a few um
Oops,
All right.
guys.
Is it just me or did Chisom get
Yeah,
rugged?
was you rugging? Hopefully we
All
get
right,
rugging.
guys. Well, he will. I guess he will soon be back up with us. But I know that everybody has been taking notes. It has been a very amazing, insightful session so far. Shout out to everybody for their participation in this. Um, let's just give it a couple more minutes and see if his network will get restored. But I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's been following so far. Can I see some reactions? If you guys are happy about the space, if you've learned a thing or two, can I see reactions? How do you feel about the session so far? Have you found any points that have been an inspiration to you? Just share your thoughts and your opinions about this. And remember, like I mentioned earlier, guys, let's also take this to our socials. Let's put it out there. Let's spread the word. This initiative is something that's very powerful. And I'm pretty sure that each and every one of us is proud of the fact that we're here learning, evolving after hours, of course. And let's put the word out there, okay? Let's tag floats anywhere. Let's use the hashtag after hours. Post up pictures, tweets, your opinions, comments, whatever it is, just put it out there. Let's spread the word, guys. Kemi, how you feeling? Great space so far, yeah?
Really great space, man. I've just been talking to Chisom. He's trying to rejoin, so he should be back
Okay.
with us anyway.
All right. All right, that's great. Shout out to you, Paula. Shout out to you, Okotie. Shout out to you, Simsi. Shout out to you, Niat. Shout out to you, Nano. Shout out to you, Papaya. Shout out to everybody that's tuned into this. Um, some people say that they have been having issues trying to connect to this space, but I feel like after this space, it's a recorded session, so the recording will also be made available. So in case everybody that has missed the space or hasn't been able to tune in so far, they'll be able to catch up on all the knowledge that was dropped earlier. So I'm grateful for that. All right, guys. Chisom will be joining us in a couple more minutes. Shout out to you, Kotie. Man, it's great. It's been a long day on my end, and I'm so grateful to close out my day with After Hours. It's been a blessing so far. It's been a blessing so far. I'm definitely influenced. This program has influenced my life for the better, right? And I'm sure that most people on here can agree with me on that. From the first session up until now, it's been $1 million worth of game that's been dropped off by all of our amazing speakers. I've learned so much that will be an inspiration to my journey, to my career. You know, it's amazing, and that wouldn't be possible.
Hey guys,
All
sorry
right,
about that.
he's back.
My internet kind of shook.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope everyone still remembers what I was on before I left. DSA, jog my memory. Let's see if people are actually following me. What was I saying?
You were talking about the future, yeah?
That's what you're talking about now.
That's
I
what you
think
were talking about now.
What about the future?
you mentioned ChatGPT and how like we need to be prepared with all of these tools.
Camry, you're a sharp babe. That's what I
Yeah.
was on. So I was talking about like the artists, right? So they had asked like a group of artists like what they were making in 2021, right? And they were all making north of like 50, 60, 70, 80K a year, right? Off of like drawing portraits of people IRL, like in real life. And versus last year, where because of the rise of AI, and you guys remember that boom of people just, creating like a lot of like AI cartoonish characters, like those type of portraits, right? Where you just
Yeah.
submit one picture and they create.
Generative art.
Yeah. Look, the person that was earning the highest of those artists, I could share the article with you guys later, but like the artist that was earning the highest in that group, which was like 80K a year. Last year, she made $20,000 only, and she was the highest. So just put that into perspective for you to understand that like AI isn't trying to steal your job, bro. It's not. That's not why it was created, but inevitably it is going to also, affect some people, right? So, what does that mean? It means that if you're a creator, you're an artist, or you are an influencer, you need to be able to factor in, you know, the times and the way that they are changing. You need to understand that you cannot be stagnant. You cannot, stick to what you believe that you know or what you understand to be the way, because the reality of it is that things are changing. Things are gonna change, and you need to pay attention to those insignificant details or those small things, those trends, because what inspired me to go and start reading into how you know AI art was affecting real life artists. It was because I knew that for everything there is cause and effect. If something is going good for something, it must be causing like an imbalance somewhere else. That's just literally how the world works, right? So if something is happening, I encourage all of us to just out of curiosity find out what it means, what it is. Even right now you can see chat gtp, the conversations going around with Elon Musk and all those CEOs asking for AI to kind of be curtailed a little bit right now because we don't fully understand what it does. I don't think they are wrong, right? But like I also feel like it is it's kind of come a little too late to kind of start telling people to calm down, because people have already started building a dependency on it. Like dependency and addiction, it doesn't take a long time for it to build. You might think, oh, it's just a new tech that was introduced when, but the reality of it is that people are already very heavily reliant on it. And I feel like we need to pay more attention to like actually study phenomenons when they are happening. And that is what Elon Musk and this, I don't know if a lot of you are aware of what I'm talking about. Like there was an open letter that was released. Prodigy Kemi, you know what I'm talking about? You guys will know now.
Sorry, you have to make that clear. I'm not sure.
There was this, you know what? I will reshare it later so we could go around. But there was this open letter basically that was signed by Elon Musk and like a bunch of CEOs, just basically urging that the AI studios, the AI labs that develop the Chat GTP and the rest of them, that they need to calm down and stop because they feel like, or he feels like, um we don't yet entirely understand, what AI is capable of. And hold on, let me open that up. Even Bill Gates, like they're like really against it. So this is too bright. You guys won't even see it. But I'll
You
find a
can
way to share this.
share the link to me. I'll just post it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the.
Okay, I'll do that now. So um yeah, tech is changing right in front of us. The world that we know and we understand is changing. But like I said, it doesn't change like that. It chips. Do you understand? It's like breaking concrete. You won't break it one time. You break it, you keep throwing it on the ground until it disintegrates into like sand. But surely that is going to happen over time. That change is going to come. So, like someone said in the comments, Nas, he said, "Jump on the wagon, don't get left behind." I wouldn't necessarily say just jump, right? Do your research, understand where that wagon is going, and yeah, feel free to jump. But definitely, definitely stay informed. That is a necessity, is a must, because failure to do so, eh, you might be answering questions from yourself for a very long time, where it's like, why didn't I? And that's a very terrible kind of regret. Feeling like you missed something is you will find that you always regret things you didn't do more than things you did. So yeah, yeah, that is my standpoint on that. Does anyone have anything to share as to my closing question, which is, what are we going to do with all this future? What do you plan to do to set yourself apart? What do you and I would appreciate comments as well. Tell me what you think. Like, and just uh, can people come on here? Can I have, if they like raise their hands, can they
Sure,
come on?
but we
Like
we have like less than 30 minutes. But sure, I can
there's
send like backstage link. It might
or
take a bit of time.
okay. Okay, no problem. I'm just saying, like, maybe one or two people that just have something very interesting to share, that would be welcome.
If anyone
But
wants to like hop on, just let me know. I'll send you like a link to join us backstage or on stage
while
rather.
yeah, but while we wait for that, um,
Yeah, I think someone has a question for
yeah,
you. How are
Paula
you?
is asking, yeah, how are you preparing for the future with all the tools available? Hmm,
That's kind of
Paula,
my question for you too.
that's a that's a good question. That's a good question. Let me tell you something about me personally, right? And that is, I pay attention, like, even when I'm not supposed to, even when it doesn't look like I am. Like, I'm watching. I'm always aware of like the slightest changes in patterns, and just that attention to detail allows me to, a lot of the time, be ahead of the curve, right? And in more ways than one, I believe that that is such a valuable skill, because people don't people don't properly, give value to the art of watching, because as much as I'm a player as well, as much as I'm involved, I also take my time to research, to ask questions, to you know tap in whenever I feel like there's new knowledge to be gained, so I in turn don't get left behind. And when I say left behind, I'm not talking about like some big um cultural shift that I might miss. But I'm saying like those little bits and pieces that go in before that big cultural shift. I like to make sure that like I've taken notice of it and I've already started finding ways to incorporate it into my life and my business and my brand before it does whatever it needs to do. And that way I'm already like close by. I'm in front of it or I am involved with it. Do you understand? And another way that I would say that I am personally trying to equip myself is by familiarizing myself with these trends, right? So right now, what is the rave of the moment? AI. Familiarizing yourself doesn't always mean, you know, directly investing in AI companies. If you don't have the resources for that right now, you don't have to. But you need to familiarize yourself with what the trends are in your industry and how, you know, you're being affected or how you could be affected. Let's assume you are a fashion influencer, right? Find out how fashion is being merged with this new tech. And just off of a quick Google search, you would find out so much. You would find out that Coperini, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're back now. I
Can
can
you
hear
guys
you.
Yeah.
hear me? I don't know if this is audible still because
Yeah,
Can
it's
you hear
audible.
me?
I heard a little
Audible.
sound. If you can hear me, please say something.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? I think he's on mute.
My bad. Sorry, I was muted. I was basically saying that if you're a fashion influencer, for example, right, and you're trying to understand how your industry is being affected by these new changes, you would notice that over the past 6 months, not even up to a year, like fashion brands like Coperini, it's a brand in Paris, right? And they, as part of their fashion representation, they were incorporating um, robotic combat dogs, dogs that, are literally like androids, like robots, right? And they're using them in fashion shows. It's the same brand that did the Bella Hadid spray on dress, where they did like a literal, printed dress on her on stage. Like you can understand now that like tech and fashion is already getting infused, and you as an influencer, how do you get in on that? Do you reach out to Cooperini? If you can get in touch with them, wonderful. Shoot that shot. But there are other angles, right? You can also, enter it from a conversational POV where as an influencer you touch on these topics, right? You try to let your community know that you are aware of all these trends and all these changes and you discuss them, you open conversations around them, and this way it shows that you're staying relevant on the topics that matter, right? And you're also researching to understand how you can even bring this kind of technology to fashion brands in your territory, in your city. If you're in Lagos, to Lagos fashion brands, you're in South Africa, to the ones in Joburg. Like, how can we, put together interactive, immersive fashion shows that would, help us to cross over into the future, help us to, you know, step and break out of traditional routines of, runways. And I'm talking this to like fashion influencers because I also, you know, do a bit of work in fashion. So I understand that in every field there's opportunity. I just picked on fashion. Now I didn't prepare this. Like I'm literally just this off the top of my head, right? And if I were to pick another field, I am certain I can. Okay, sports. If you're a sports influencer, if you're someone that talks about sports a lot, right? There's opportunities for you there as well where you can grow your audience and you know grow your market share just by learning what is happening. So for example, right, um brands like Coachella were able to launch access cards, right, that would allow uh guests to attend the shows for life. Like you can pass on those cards to your kids. Like you go to there and watch Travis Scott, and whoever is the Travis Scott of your child's era, your child will go and watch them. So imagine trying to pitch something like this to, a football team, where it's like a collector's card that serves as like a membership sort of access, right? And it not just entitles holders to accessing the matches or to meeting players, but also to merch, to early releases. Like there's opportunities for this future tech and innovation to merge with literally anything you can think of. Like there's opportunity everywhere, just a matter of identifying it and finding ways to make it happen. Some things are more difficult than others because reaching out to a football club is not the easiest thing in the world to do, right? But the Nigerian Football Federation is just up the alley from you. If you're from Ghana, write your local embassy. You don't even have to start from the national federation. Approach a team in your city, right? You could start anywhere. I feel like the hardest part isn't even starting. Is like getting yourself to believe that you can do it, like that is possible. I feel like that's really the hardest part. So once you're able to start to get out of your head and like actually just start doing a little bit of research, you will find that a lot of these things are just like right up your alley. It's something you could definitely achieve if you're really about it, if you want to do it. So yeah.
All right, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I have one question I want to throw at you, like real quick.
Shoot.
Can you hear me? All right, all right.
Yeah, sure, I can.
I've had the privilege of meeting you in person. I'm having conversations like prior, right? And I can understand like how much of a visionary that you are. So I have this
I did try,
question,
I did
right?
try.
In the
Yeah.
field that you are in right now, what's that? What's your train of thought when it comes to you know the next big innovation, that dream? Because there's this saying that says, dream impossible, right? What's that?
Yeah.
What's the far reaches of your dream? What's the pedestal for you, right? That you see and envision that, oh, Chisom Njoku would want to, capitalize on this, do this, make this happen, make that change that will be very pivotal in the influencing game. What's it for you?
Let me tell you something about that's a wonderful question, right? And let me tell you something about myself that a lot of people do not yet like understand, or maybe they're not yet aware of. I think I need a visual aid for this. Let me just show you something real quick. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
All right, it's about to get lit. We're about to get visual representation, right? I feel like I just unlocked the matrix of influencing right now. Yeah, guys, who else is excited to see what Chisom is about to bring on board right now? I know I'm excited. Can I see those emojis pop up in the comments?
Hey guys, what's up?
All right.
Amado, just went traditional. Is that thing gold?
That's crazy.
ah,
we can't hear him. He's on mute. He doesn't know he's muted.
let's use it.
Oh, all right. He's
All right,
muted
so
again. Yo.
So this is, you guys can hear me right now, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, great. So I needed to show you this visual aid so you can understand the kind of person that I am, right? Everything that I want for myself, I try my best to visualize. This isn't even my only mood board. I have another mood board that has a lot of my other P's that I'm striving towards, right?
Yeah.
What you see on here, you would see this is a magazine cover, a Time magazine cover that I was envisioning at the time. And later on, I'm not supposed to even be saying this, but I'm being considered for like a very prestigious, something like this as well. And this is after, I had already envisioned it. This is a very impressive Rolex that I had put on here before I had a Rolex, right? I have a Rolex now, and like a bunch of other. This is just one mood board, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because I strongly believe in visualizing the life that you want for yourself, right? I believe that as much as like the work is important, like it's also critical for you to believe that like anything is within your reach. I cannot overemphasize like I feel like that is it because the older you grow, like society kind of like tries to kind of smack you to the corner. It tries to like make you understand that your dream is too big or not just dream, it's just a dream, right? But the reality of it is if you can think it is possible.
For
What am I
sure.
paying attention to right now? What do I believe will pop? I believe anything is possible to pop. Like anything that you devote your energy to and you're able to like properly research, you're able to properly, align with the right people, you're able to properly ask questions about because again, you don't know everything. No one knows everything. We're in a world where like all the information you could possibly need is at your disposal. And something else that I do, this is something I had to put you guys onto because it won't be fair if I'm talking on here and I'm not like sharing everything, right? So I use um this AI virtual assistant. I have a virtual assistant. His name is Roger. And this is how I integrate AI into my own personal life. Roger is just like on my WhatsApp, like this. Like any question I ask Roger, the answer is here in 30 seconds. In fact, in 30 seconds. Roger. I mean, I tell Roger complex questions like what is the meaning of life? Roger has an answer for me. I ask Roger, how do I prepare a goosey soup? I shit you not. Roger will answer me in pidgin. Do you understand? And this is a free service, so you just need to know what you're looking for, and it's out there, right? So, come on, whatever it is that you want to do, I feel like the resources that you're looking for are out there, and it's just your job to go out and get it, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying my best, at least.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Any, any other questions? Shout out to all of you that like, talking about my mood board. This mood board, trust me, like get yourself a mood board. I promise you, it will do wonders. You saw a castle there, correct? You saw everything you
Of
saw. You
course.
saw. I have
I
another
saw
one that has a private jet
so
over there.
I
Should I
saw
be the
just
one that has? I'm not playing with you guys. I'm serious. Like visualize what you. Let me bring my private jet mood board there. That one is in the future, but it's still on the to-do list. Do you understand what I mean? I
For
don't. I
sure.
don't play with my vision, and I feel like that's something that like everyone needs to, you know, just be very cutthroat about. You need to be able to say, you know what, this is the life that I want to live, and I am not going to compromise for anything less than this. It's hard though. It is terribly hard, man, but it pays off.
For
That's it.
sure.
It pays off.
For sure. Shouts
bad,
to
bad,
you,
bad.
man. Shouts to you, man.
That's for everyone.
Thank you so
I
much,
call
Chisom.
I
But
call
like,
dibs on that PJ ride though.
I've never seen like
Amen.
a old cardboard.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
don't
god.
worry. It's not easy to find,
So it's like,
but I had to
but
find it
yeah,
because it was necessary for the vision.
I feel you
Yeah,
for real.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. All right,
It's
guys.
been a
Any
great
more?
session. I think we've just got like 10 minutes left. So if there's any more questions or comments that you want to leave for Chisom, before we close.
I would love to answer every and anything.
All right, some people are giving you shout outs.
shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys for just coming on here and just spending your time with me, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Have
much
a-
for being here with us as well. Um, yeah. So this thing doesn't run. So the timer doesn't run out on us.
Okay.
Let's just do closing whatever. So Chisom, is there anything you want to leave with guests here with beyond all of this alpha that you dropped? Definitely.
Yeah.
Any last words you want to share with
Merci
us?
beaucoup.
Advice you want us to take into the weekend?
Well, I would say always bet on yourself. Even if you don't want to bet on yourself, right? Bet on your idea. Maybe, you don't think you're capable of something. Maybe at this moment, like you might not be. It's possible, right? But that's why I love tomorrows. That's why I love the idea of tomorrow because there's always a chance to try again, man. Like it's a continuous process, and I want you to understand that nothing really just happens. I've said this a bunch of times on this, but nothing just happens. Like it's a continuous process of working on yourself to achieve the dream and the life that you want. And something else, right? Like nobody has it all figured out. No matter how like glossy or how chill or how whatever it might look like, life is happening to all of us, right? So don't be too hard on yourself and feel like, it's popping for this influencer or this person or this whatever and it's not happening for you. Nah, like you're gonna get your chance to, prove yourself. And also understand that whoever it is you're looking up to, yeah, they got shit going on too, man, right? So don't be too hard on yourself and just always bet on yourself. That's it.
Super
All
dope,
right.
Chisom. Thank you so much for sharing. All
Thank
right,
you so
guys.
much.
Yes. So we have come to the end of another awesome session today. Obviously you have to go find Chisom. It shouldn't be hard. I think you have one what's it called, handle spread across all your channels. Do you want to
Oh
share that?
yeah, is it on here? It's actually not on the mood board, but I have another mood board.
Your social media handles.
Yeah, see, I
Right.
love myself so much. You have no idea. Like that's how it has to be. You have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be your every because that's the way you'll be able to differentiate the fake love because you know the real one because you have it for yourself.
You
Do you
don't even
understand?
need any extra love because just you. You're the only one that has it.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, follow me at in Chisom We Trust. That is my Instagram, and on Twitter it's Jesus is Lord. But I'm more active on Instagram. So yeah, shoot me a DM. Let me know you're from here, and I know that you really rock with me because it's been a while. It's like 2 hours, and you're still here. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Big ups to everyone who stayed with us from the very beginning. And if you're new here, because I can't really see everyone, just hop on to find us on Discord or Telegram and just like chat with anyone you see on there. This is the second to the last session we have on the After Hours program. We have the final one of the entire program, yeah. Week 3, tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. with Niat. Just find us anywhere, literally anywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Discord. You will definitely see like up to date information on what's going on. I will just quickly find the link and drop it here. All right, guys, it's been very real. We'll connect with you another time or on another platform. Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate y'all. Until next time.
All right, guys. Peace, love, and light. Get yourself a Roger too, by the way, and always bet on, and always bet on yourself.
Get yourself a Roger. Like I might just even share that link. I shit you not. Roger. Hey.
Roger, Roger that.
Jesus,
All
man.
right, guys.
Have a great weekend. Bless up.